Hey everyone, Andrew Chappell, Senior Pastor at Newnan First United Methodist. Before I pray, I just want to have ask for a moment of silence. Yesterday, our church said goodbye to Miss Julia O'Neill, who many of you know. Her husband was the pastor at Newnan First United Methodist from 1978 to 1983. She was a resident most recently at Wesley Woods and lived a wonderful life. And so I'd ask for a moment of silence for Miss Julia, and then we will pray. Gracious God, we're thankful for the many saints who surround us all. God, we do not do this alone, and we are grateful for the cloud of witnesses that surrounds us, that sustains us. God, we're grateful for your Spirit. We're grateful for this body, God, and we continue to pray for our city, for our leaders, those who take care of the many, many details that make Newnan so special. So, God, please be with them, be in this meeting, be present, God, and give us all ears to hear, eyes to see, and open hearts. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, with that, we move into the reading of the minutes. Are there any objections to accepting the minutes as presented?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, carries unanimously. Now we move into the reports of boards and commissions. We have an appointment to the Christmas Commission.
We can take both of mine and put them on the next agenda.
All right, both of those are moved. That and the Development Authority are moved to the next agenda. For the Urban Redevelopment Agency, NURA, we have Zachary Potter. He is our Cross Housing Authority and NURA board member there. And many thanks to Jess Barron, who served very capably on the NURA board for a while. All right, with that, we're moving into report on operations by the city manager.
I have nothing today, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
All right. With that, we move into my reports and communications.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, sorry, the appointment. My apologies.
Now, your appointment is the housing authority, right, but the your appointment would be the council.
Oh, yes, no, and
Your nomination.
thank you, Brad. I appreciate the note there. Do we have a motion to accept Mr. Potter for NURA? This is my NURA appointment.
Do you need a motion or a second?
I motion. Do we have a second?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, Mr. Potter passes unanimously. Mr. Sears, my apologies. Part of my point there is just we have to have so many people between both boards, so just noting that he is one of those people. Moving into reports and communications from the mayor. First, I would just like to point out to everybody this is the last week of early voting. If you have not voted yet, please do so. It is our great privilege to be able to vote for our leadership, and it's a very important election. I also want to just note as a kind of a housekeeping note and a kind of a transparency item, we have an off-agenda item that we're going to discuss today in new business regarding a pond and some research in adding that to our city park system. Generally, for transparency purposes, we like to publish the agenda about a week in advance and make sure that everything we're going to be discussing is on there so that people know what we're talking about and can, chime in or show up to discuss if needed. But occasionally some of these items come up after we publish the agenda, and generally we try to stick to those things and almost entirely stick to those things where we're just asking for staff input. So this is one of those where we're essentially looking for staff research. We're not going to be doing anything with funding or anything along those lines. This is just us information gathering. And so occasionally those will slip into off-agenda items, but just wanted to flag that for the sake of transparency. With that, we move into new business. Excuse me. Item E, consideration of a contract award for sidewalk repair and replacement of various locations. Sir, floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. What you have before you, in the budget, we appropriated some funds to repair some broken sidewalk sections that needed to be replaced. We went out to bid. We got 6 respondents, and CGS waterproofing was the lowest. There was an error in the bid tab. They calculated wrong, but they were the lowest. After going back through it and talking with them, It was $10.50 a square foot. So staff recommends let's awarding them a contract and let's get them started making these repairs.
With that, we move into discussion of council. Any discussion? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Great.
Second.
We're approving the consideration of the contract award for sidewalk repair and replacement at various locations. To be awarded to, could you repeat the name of the firm, please?
CGS Waterproofing.
BGS Waterproofing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item F, communications assessment presentation by Nikki Perry.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Over the past few months, we have worked with Nikki Perry Consulting, as Ms. Perry has led a comprehensive communication assessment for the city. She has conducted staff interviews and evaluated the strategies we have in place in our communications efforts, and she's here today to share her findings with you.
Thank you, Amy. Hello, Mayor Shepherd, City Council. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today and to present my findings to you. The fact that you've conducted this assessment sends a signal to the Newnan City residents that you value public trust, that you value transparency, and that you are willing to do the best job possible to make sure that people feel engaged and welcome in their city government. So I applaud you for that, and I look forward to sharing my recommendations with you.
Is it working, Nikki?
Not yet. Should I be pointing somewhere else? If it doesn't work, I can run through it without.
I can help you if you just want to tell me.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. All right, so what are we assessing? That was the question I got a lot with the department directors I interviewed. A communications assessment is where you have an outside set of eyes that comes in and evaluates how your communications programs are going, whether they're effective, whether you're reaching the people that you're trying to communicate with, and if there are additional opportunities that you could be taking to build transparency and connection. The areas that I evaluated in this particular communications assessment were digital outreach, which includes social media and the e-newsletter. The website, we looked at accessibility and also the performance of the website. Traditional media, which is the press. And community engagement includes events and programming that you use to reach out in the community, and then of course internal communication structure. How your internal structures, the way the departments cooperate with each other, how the information flows within your city government. The methods that I used were staff interviews. I met with all of your department directors and was very excited to meet with them and see how open they are to receiving feedback and making sure that they are meeting their customers' needs and connecting with city residents. You have an excellent organizational culture here. It was very welcoming, very open and candid interviews. I reviewed all of your current materials and your communications channels, and then we compared you with other cities in the area. Thank you. And what I found is that you already have a very strong organizational culture. Every department director that I spoke with is already very engaged and very interested in engaging and serving the residents of the city of Newnan. You have a well-established brand identity in the community. I think you're very well recognized as the city of homes and as a city that is interested in engaging with the community. And your communication staff is doing a lot of work. They are producing a lot of content and very consistently and high quality content. So really my recommendation for Ms. Haddon and her staff is to channel your efforts more into strategy and not so much volume. Really, you have a decentralized form of operations with your communications because all of the departments pitch in some way. It's not just the city manager's office doing the communicating. Everyone works together. So my recommendations revolve around increasing the collaboration between the departments. switch for me. Thank you. So the recommendation we'll talk about first is the one that you're probably the most interested in as the city council because it involves the budget. And I recommend adding some additional communications support, not in the city manager's office necessarily, but in the other departments that do the most communicating with the public, which is police, fire, and your leisure services. Really, a full-time position is probably not needed. It can be integrated into the fire and leisure services departments, but I do recommend a post-certified PIO for your police department. I think that's really important to support Chief Blankenship, and not just in the times where you need a press conference and you need to talk about something bad that has happened with the public, but to broadcast all of the good things that your department is doing. You have a robust community relations activities in your police department, and the public, I'm sure, would love to hear more about that. And most of these other recommendations are mainly for Ms. Haddon and the other department staff who are involved directly in the communications efforts. Having a hub and spoke approach to social media, what that kind of means is that contrary to back in 2008 when I started my first Facebook page for a local government, it's no longer one Facebook page or one social media account, and then everybody pays attention to that one account. As you know, the pages are diversified now. Everybody's attention spans are narrowed onto their area of interest. So having the police department, leisure services, Main Street, all the different areas working together and sharing content and amplifying each other, that's definitely the way to go now. Another thing that's changed, especially in the past few years with the social media landscape, is the niche targeting, target marketing of groups where people's, like I said, their focuses are narrowed. So there are all these Facebook groups, HOA groups, opportunities to really reach specific audiences, whereas formerly we just had one blanket megaphone where we tried to reach everybody. Now, by working with our community partners, we can really reach specific groups, and I think that's a great opportunity, especially for the police department, especially for leisure services, where you might be wanting to communicate a very specific message to a specific audience. That's another opportunity for connection. This is something you'll want to talk about with your city attorney, updating the social media policy. There has been some case law over the past few years that has really kind of changed the way we approach social media policy writing. So that's something to delve into and to consider, and I'm happy to provide you with some more resources that I use to stay abreast to those types of topics. Also, social media archiving is something that the council may want to consider investing in your next budget. I believe your website provider actually provides that service, so that might be an easy add-on that protects you in case you did have open records requests. Auditing the website for accessibility, this is something that your staff is already on top of, actually. The federal compliance deadlines are coming up in 2027 for a city of your size, and they are already on top of that, doing a great job with it. My suggestions are to increase the use of online forms, which I think most users expect these days, and then also streamlining the content, because as you know, a lot of people don't visit your website the way they used to. They search it up on AI, they ask AI a question, and then AI combs your website and feeds them the information. So making sure that your website is streamlined and searchable for the AI tools, that's really the focus. Not so much website traffic anymore. And speaking of AI, I know that you all are probably bombarded with lots of AI tools and new business opportunities that people are taking advantage of, but as a city of homes, I would encourage you to prioritize human interaction. I think we all learned, especially during the pandemic, is in recent memory, and I think that really highlighted the importance of human interaction. And you have such a warm, friendly City Hall here. Make sure that you keep that personal touch. And then reviving the city council meeting highlights. Your communications staff has tried this in the past, and I think it was a fantastic idea. It's a lot of work to do perhaps a video summary of the city council meeting. So maybe something that's not quite as labor intensive, but is very important to kind of recap for the public and especially for the press, which is so short-staffed, to be able to recap in layman's terms what the city council is doing and the actions that they're taking. It really makes the public feel more connected to what the city council is doing. And then we've talked a lot about digital and social and website, but I would encourage you not to count out print. Print media is still important. It is the one form that is accessible to everybody. You don't have to have a computer, you don't have to have a Facebook account or an Instagram account to be able to get a flyer in the mail that educates you about what is going on in your local government, or maybe talks about upcoming events or fire safety, police safety. These are great ideas. Actually, it was interesting, one local fire department that I work with up in Northeast Georgia, they recently went through their ISO inspection. And the chief was a little bit frustrated because the ISO inspector said, "You're doing all this on social media and your website looks great, but you don't have anything in print. You're not. How do I know that you're really reaching all of the all of the residents in your fire district?" And of course, the chief, who had invested heavily in social media over the past few years, was upset about that. But they're right. I mean, that print is the one thing that reaches everybody. It's quantifiable, and it's a way to show people that you are able to meet them where they are, no matter where they are. I was really impressed with the amount of community engagement from all of your departments. They all are very proactive in gathering information and opinions from their customers. The Citizens Academy is a great example of that, of connecting with residents, and then also your comprehensive plan survey that you've been doing recently. I think all of the departments that I spoke with were very engaged, and so I just encourage you to keep up that good work, and I don't think I have to say that because it's just part of your culture here at the City of Newnan. And then my final recommendation is to shift toward more proactive storytelling. And this is really mainly just some guidance for the communications staff to encourage them to collaborate with the departments, go out there and find those stories, because that's what's going to break through all the noise that we all see every single day. We all walk around getting all kinds of messages. Our phones are dinging all the time. There's screens everywhere. But really, storytelling is the thing that breaks through all the noise and really connects the dots and tells your story as a city. So that's what I would encourage you guys to do. And that's all my recommendations. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't have any questions, but I'd like to comment on your last statement. Really kind of what I sense is that there's so much information out there, it really could have a focus on something really good happened today type is what you're kind of going for, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's finding all the good things that your city staff is doing and making
Yeah.
sure the public knows how their tax dollars are being spent.
Kind of like the Good News Network kind of thing?
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we direct staff with our city attorney to review the recommendations presented in the Newnan Communications Assessment and make recommendations to city council to consider.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much for your presentation, and we're looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. All right, with that, we move into item G, consideration of a resolution authorizing participation in an amicus brief in the Chang v. City of Milton appeal.
You mean, as in the memo says, you will recall, this was the accident that took place in the city of Milton that hit a subdivision sign that was in the right-of-way but off the travel lane. What happened in that case, the Court of Appeals upheld a $30 million judgment against the City of Milton. It was asserted to the Supreme Court. We participated in that amicus brief. The Supreme Court reversed it, but sent it back to the Court of Appeals to make a determination from a negligence standpoint. And so that's before the Court of Appeals now, and we're being asked by the collective body to participate in an amicus brief, as we did the first time. Of course, we would recommend doing this, a very important issue. There are a couple of other cases that we might talk about later where municipal liability is being extended. As you know, the legislature traditionally meets and talks about waiving sovereign immunity, not for the state, but for municipalities and counties. So there's chipping away at our general sovereignty here. So we would recommend, at least in this case, recommend that the Court of Appeals reverse the case based upon the negligence.
Thank you, Mr. Sears. One question about this. Do we have any assessment or any understanding of, were this to go against city sovereign immunity and were there to be this negligence standard, do we have a sense of how much of an undertaking it would be for us to address this, or, you know, what kind of legal liability this could expose the city of Newnan to?
It would be almost catastrophic. And
Right.
of course, as you can imagine, we've got the utility company, Georgia Power, AT&T, everybody who has poles in the right of way, fire hydrants, anything that's in the right of way. Now, what has happened in the past is some of the utilities have moved outside of the right of way, but at the same time, it's even if we were to move outside of the right of way, it's still our facilities. So as you understand, we are doing some of this with utilities where the road right of way is there, the utility companies are getting easements adjacent to it. The reason for that is not from a liability standpoint, but in the event you decide to widen your road, you'd have to pay them to move the utilities. So it's kind of a, you know, do you get 150-foot right-of-way like the interstates, and yet the interstates still have issues with things in the right-of-way there. So it is a very important issue, and it could be very expensive to take a look at this. Now, what we talked about, and I don't quite understand, we understand if you let somebody brick their mailbox, in some cases that has caused some liability for counties and municipalities. But the U.S. Post Office makes you put that one in the right-of-way right up against, but the federal government is exempt. So it's kind of a catch-22. So, but yes, you're correct.
Well, thank you, and that's something we'll be watching. With that, do we have a motion to, or do we have any discussion from council? Further discussion? With that, do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Sears. Moving to item H, election of GMA's District 4 officers for 2026 to 2027.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, you have the slate, the recommended slate in front of you. Previously, we've accepted the slate as recommended, and once council takes action, we'll send the city's position in. So.
Great, all right. Any discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor of electing GMA's slate of District 4 officers for 2026, 2027 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, carries unanimously. Item I, discussion regarding cemetery ordinance updates as proposed within the cemetery master plan. You have the floor.
Back again. As y'all are well aware, we just done the exercise of the cemetery master plan, and in part of that master plan, there was some revisions to the cemetery ordinance that were proposed. Staff wanted to make sure council had some input if there's any other changes or any other issues that y'all would like to address before we brought to this body the revised ordinance for y'all's consideration. I'll be glad. I've got a list of highlights that it's in your pack. I can go over them if you'd like to, or if y'all got questions, however you want me to.
If you could hit a couple of the highlights and some of the major points, just so that we have that for the record.
Absolutely. Starting off the top of the list, it lays out the need for written permission for persons to be buried that have no interest in a lot. I'll give you an example. If Mr. Phillips was to say that I could be buried in his lot, but Mr. Phillips was not available, I would have to produce that written permission for it to get there. Right now, that's not currently there. We're going to give the cemetery superintendent some authority to compel the owners to keep trees, bushes, shrubs trimmed. Right now, we have to bring it to this body to do it, and that can be very cumbersome. The right of interment is a big change that we're adding to it, and that it's going to spell out who is entitled to be buried in a family plot. And I'm going to give you a quick example. If your family has a family plot and there's one spot left and there's 3 kids, or you've got a brother and a sister, who gets it? Well, this is going to spell it out, who is actually entitled to that. It'd be the firstborn. There's got to be some rules in it to how we can figure it out. And those situations come up a lot more frequent than you realize. So it would help us to actually put something in writing so we can administer it and keep it equal. We're removing some stuff. There are size limits for headstones, making it where it's not so cookie cutter. If you own certain lots, you can actually put, the bigger headstones. We want to make sure that Eastview has the same rules as Oak Hill. So we want all the active cemeteries, we want them to be kind of under a blanket policy. And another big one, in closing, would give the city manager some authority if there be more than one interment in one spot. And I'll give you a for instance. We have some places that actually have a traditional burial in them that has a vault, that has a casket, but then the partner, their wife or their husband get cremated and they want to be put in that same spot. So we would actually come up with some second right of interment rules to bring back to y'all. So I think it would be some good changes. And if y'all have any input, it's things that y'all would like us to make sure is addressed in the ordinance, feel free. This is what we want.
I do have some questions. I've brought them up before, so I'm trying to I see some of the language may have changed a little bit, so I'm trying to make sure that I understand. So like the headstones, for instance, we talked about not having the upright headstones or the, like my grandparents have the couple, and they have the headstone there. And my understanding was you can't have that unless you've got 4. And so is that language still in there?
There is going to be you've got to have a certain lot size, which it is 4 for the big family marker. You would still have to have that because you need that space to have that marker installed.
Okay. So I guess I'm just trying to figure it out because we've got so many that are like that already. Mm-hmm. So, and some who were planning to be like that when they finally go. And so is it a problem now with the spacing? Is that the issue? Is that it's just not wide enough?
I think the intent of it was that it's actually the 2 spots. It's not 4 linear spots. It's actually the 2 in front of 2 and the family marker being in between the 2.
Oh, okay, so you're talking like that.
That way,
not
yes.
This way.
That
Talking
is
that way.
correct.
Gotcha. That's even more confusing in all honesty, because now you've got on different rows when, like in our family plot, we've got them across. Mm-hmm. So we have 4, but they're not in the configuration. Mm-hmm. And you can't go back and do that again. So that doesn't make sense to me, I'll be honest. And I don't like it.
Definitely.
So And I don't know what exactly you're looking for. Are you looking for us to vote on the ordinance right now with
Oh,
that
no,
language in it?
no, just
Okay,
input
you just
today.
want input. Well, I will get with y'all later then, because we don't have to do this right now. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any further discussion from council? And I'm sure that, well, actually, a question, when are you looking to have, when are we hoping to have this ordinance kind of finalized?
I would love to get it back to y'all for consideration next meeting.
Okay.
That's my plan, but
Yeah. Is there anybody on council who thinks that they can't get any feedback to them by then, or if they need more time? All right, with that, we'll shoot for that, and thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through that.
absolutely, thank y'all.
All right, with that, we move into consideration of, item J, the consideration of contract award for pedestrian safety, walkability, and multimodal transportation study. Floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Yes, I think there's a cover letter in there that's pretty self-explanatory, but as downtown has continued to grow and become more vibrant, we want to make sure we can figure out how we can transport people through the district safely. And while we have some great ideas, we need to make sure that we hire the experts to tell us what's the right thing to do, especially with 2 state highways running through our downtown district. So I would recommend that we hire TSW as the firm for that.
All right. Discussion from council. Seeing none, do we have a motion to accept the contract award for pedestrian safety, walkability, and multimodal transportation study from, name of the firm?
TSW.
TSW.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, carries unanimously. Moving into unfinished business. Item K, well, actually, we don't have any unfinished business, just to be clear. Moving into visitors, petitions, communications, and complaints. Item K, request from the Newnan Coweta Humanes. Oh, actually, thank you, Councilman Thomason. This is what happens when I don't have it on the agenda in front of me. Councilman Thompson, you had your off-agenda item to present for new business.
Thank you, Mayor Shepherd. I move we direct staff with our city attorney to develop options to potentially incorporate the pond behind the Lofts Apartments into our city's park system.
All right, with that, any discussion of the item?
No, I think this is a long time coming. When we actually did the bridge over it in the first place, that was part of our discussion. We just never did do it. So, yeah.
Okay, do we have with that, we have a
Second.
motion, do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, carries unanimously. Thank you. With that, we move into, and I want to thank you, Councilman Thomason. I know that came to you a little bit after we published the agenda, but I really appreciate you bringing that to us because it's a really cool idea and something we should definitely talk about.
Mayor Shepherd, let me add one thing, just for the public.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Jenkins is correct. This was discussed a long time ago and kind of just, as things kind of got forgotten. I received pictures from 2 different citizens. One is Beverly Jennings and others Jan Taylor. They sent me as they're using the link and they said, hey, we should do something with this. So I just want to pass it on and thank you for them, and also to encourage anybody that has big ideas to send them to us because we love seeing new stuff from our citizens.
Absolutely, and this is a cool one that I'm glad we got back on our radar because it's a great idea. With that, we move into item K, the request from the Newnan Coweta Humane Society to close part of Savannah Street on November 7th, 2026, from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. for an event at the Reserve at Line Creek. Is there anyone from the Humane Society who would like to speak to this item?
Good afternoon. My name is Bill Johnson. I'm a volunteer with the Newnan Coweta Humane Society. We're an all-volunteer organization. We survive on grants, donations, and fundraising. And this is one of our major fundraising events. Basically, what we're trying to do is block off the streets around Lime Creek, if you're familiar with the area down there, to allow us to put more food trucks in there, more vendors in there, and also to allow the kids to run around because of the 2 streets. Sometimes they run out in the streets and things like that. And it's really a low-traffic area. We're not blocking the 2 businesses on the front end, which is Lotus Insurance and Guiding Light, nor the one on the far end, which is Coweta Source, I think. And so we won't block any of their activities. This is just a space beyond that. But we just want to seal it off for the day. And we've got permission to use the First Presbyterian Church parking lot. Some of our members are members there, so we can get the people back and forth across the street with our own traffic directors and things like that.
Great. Thanks so much. With that, any discussion from council? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
With that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and any opposed? None. Hearing no opposition, that carries unanimously. Thank you so
very
much,
much.
and thank you to the Humane Society. Item L, excuse me. We have a request from Joe Wright to extend closure of Madison Street between Jackson Street and Jefferson Street on June 6, 2026, until 7 p.m. for the annual poker run. Sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The street's already shut down for Market Day. I'm just looking to extend it to 7 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, got it. That makes sense. Great. With that, any discussion from council? And also, Chief, do we have any concerns with extending the time period for that on your end? No, sir. Right. Any other discussion from council?
Does staff have any concerns about this?
Not really. I know that the group that we've closed the street for the market day, some of the market days, they've had a lot of vendors, and I think the last potential market day, they did not have vendors, and they actually didn't utilize the street section that day. I don't know what's particularly planned for this day, how many vendor commitments she has, you know, how that's going to, I guess the question for you, Mr. Wright, if she has a very successful vendor day with a lot of tents and setup, do you just need the last 2 hours?
So everybody's due
Or will
back.
everybody be able to fit?
We start at Harley, and then everybody leaves, and they're due back to RPM till 4.
Okay.
So vendor, I think Market Day stops at 3, I think is what I was told.
Okay.
So that's why I was kind
Okay.
of wanting to move past.
So you're not there at the same
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion from the council? If not, do we have a motion to approve the
So
street
moved.
closure? extension?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then we move into item M, request from Chad Smith and Casey Smith to extend restaurants to sidewalks to provide goods and services during the Porch Fest event on May 30th from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. Do we have anyone who wants to speak to that, or? All right. With that, great. Any concerns from chief or staff?
I don't have a concern, but I think there's something maybe, if you're willing to consider this, you may want to consider making it available to the district. Because I can tell you, even though this particular request is coming from Chad and Casey, I know there's been conversations that I've had personally with me about wanting to do the same thing. They're just not on the agenda. So if you want to consider this, you may want to consider it for the district.
Just to be clear, my reading of this was that it was for the whole district,
Okay,
not for
okay,
just
great.
their restaurants. But
That's just to be fair, I think.
that's a good point.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So my question is a little bit more clarification. Are we talking about being able to set up tables, or what? I mean, what is the extension to the sidewalk mean?
It's really to expand our brick and mortar, just to be able to service outside, the same thing that we service inside for everyone, just because we feel like there's a lot of people going to be in town for this event. So no extra, there will be tents out, but not to block traffic, not to block the sidewalk traffic. It'll be connected to your building.
So basically, where you've got outside tables now,
Yes.
you want to just be able to serve out there?
Correct.
Okay, and that includes all the things that usually are required to be inside that
Yes,
can come outside?
correct. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Is similar to what we talked about with the First Baptist Church, is this where we need to incorporate Porch Fest into this? Because we're getting creep on another project or event.
We're actually, it'd be all the ones, we are our participants in Porch Fest. We're part of their.
So it's already
Yes.
in their district, the Porch Fest? No, it's not, correct? Yeah, so it's not.
Staff had this conversation, because we've heard council at the previous meeting say, hey, we'd like to put this under one umbrella. We didn't really think this should be the responsibility of Porch Fest, because if we expand this to the district, I mean, some of these restaurants are going to be 2 blocks, 3 blocks away from their sanctioned event. I just didn't feel like that should have been the responsibility of the Porch Fest organizers in this particular case.
So this is kind of like when you have the summer wind-up and some other things, that you allow extension of services and things like that, and kind of a walking district with the alcohol and things like that. Is that what we're asking for here too, is to be able to serve outside?
Yes, ma'am.
And
If
what
I,
we're wanting to do is to
Okay.
keep the people coming to eat inside where it's not so much confusion. Because there's a lot of people that are gonna be walking around wanting drinks. So when they come inside to get the drinks, it just, slows the process down inside. We can extend it to the outside, it keeps everything running smoothly. Because for the people that just wanna get the drinks, then, they can grab a drink and go, an RTD or whatever they wanna get.
and if I may add, if you can get in your mind's eye for a minute and recall when we had the Criterium bike race. This is, I think, what these gentlemen are asking for, and Mr. Phillips is suggesting for the others in town to allow a condition such as that, where you could have, they're going to have, correct me if I'm wrong, but they'll have their cash registers out front, so you can buy a chicken sandwich as quickly as you can buy a beverage for them. But it's to allow for those in the downtown to engage out kind of in a cafe seating way. So.
Well, you mentioned the bicycle crit where we had actually no cars.
Yes, sir.
And so you could take a lot of the sidewalk. This is crazy successful, which I think we all want it to be. Do we have enough room for humans and tables and cars?
Yes, sir. They would be
Parking.
required to maintain a 36-inch distance on the public rights-of-way to allow for individuals to pass by.
Okay, very good.
So this is functionally the way that we've had it, like the Art Walk and other things like that, right? And do we normally have to make this kind of resolution when we do those events as well, or?
Yes, sir. You approve those events at the beginning of the year. Each
Okay,
year.
so that was part of
Yes, sir.
the full events. Okay, I just want to make sure that
And that's
we're.
where I was headed with
Yeah.
this, is do we already have an outline for this? And to say that we adopt this for this event, and that way we have a defined area, we have defined activities that we already know how to do, as opposed to trying to make it up on the fly here, and we already know how to do this.
Right. I don't want to put words in Mr. Phillips' mouth, but I think that's what he was trying to do for those that are participating already. These gentlemen's restaurants actually are shown on the Porch Fest map as participating locations, and so I think that's why they came forward. They anticipated a larger crowd, and so they wanted to be able to continue to operate their restaurants. So if they can put a cash register outside so you can order some food and drink there, doesn't put everyone in their business while the event's going on, and then they can't serve regular customers.
What I'm concerned about, and the reason why I want to extend a district that everybody knows about, is so that when people purchase and they start walking, they know where they can and cannot go. So for me, it is, let's make sure that we're not just saying, oh, all the restaurants in the district, and everybody's like, well, where is that? Let's do something like that, and that's what I want
Gotcha.
for this.
Yep.
So that the general public knows what is permissible and what is not.
Sounds good.
Right.
Okay?
One last thing, do we think we need to have any additional police to help with crossings or anything like that?
We have a lot of resources planned that day.
Okay, good.
We have a lot of.
I think it's gonna be wildly
We
successful.
probably don't have any more resources available.
I understand.
I think some of the latest estimates we've heard is upwards of maybe 18,000 people attending the event. So
The weather
it'll be
cooperates.
all hands on deck.
Busy.
Good.
Yeah, if the weather cooperates, it'll be busy.
Right.
Well, No, I'm good. I was gonna make a motion, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, please.
I'd like to move that we that we extend the sidewalks, extend restaurants. Well, actually, let me back this up. We're actually approving something different. We're going to try to approve a template that's already in existence. That's what
That's
Councilwoman
what
Jenkins
I
brought up. So
think.
what is the wording I would use? What is that template?
Could we just,
think to take a
could the
stab.
motion just be to adopt the same extensions as have been used for Art Walk and other similar?
For those
We usually have used what we describe in the ordinance as the open container district.
Okay.
All right.
That way.
That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. That way
right
you know
there.
the district, correct?
Yep.
For those participating in the event,
Yes.
right?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we make back up a second. We refer to the open container district. So it's already an open container district. We just want to say, we move that in the open container existence, in the open container district, on May 30th, from 12 PM to 9 PM, we will allow restaurants to extend to the sidewalks.
Their sales to the sidewalks.
Their sales to the sidewalks.
Sales to the sidewalks.
Hearing the
Second.
motion? Yes, absolutely, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passed unanimously. With that, we do not have we do not have executive session. Okay. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, with
Second.
that, we are adjourned.